Designed after the Rockingham Speedway, Boston International takes the high banks and high speed of the Carolinian Sandhills and brings them up to Boston's Bunker Hill. Hi, hello, and good afternoon, race fans. It's another pleasant afternoon in Cambridge, Massachusetts, as we're here for today's coverage of the NR2003 Mission BBQ Cup Series race, the Craftsman 500. Once again, welcome everybody to today's Intercast on the North American Sim Racing Network. My name is Trey Wright, and on the eve of the 249th birthday of the United States, we're once again at the track for the Dunkin Week of Speed, stop number 4 at the Boston International Speedway. This track is very, very similar to what we saw with Rockingham back in March. Just over a mile in length, 25 degrees of banking in both corners, and a very abrasive track surface make Boston a race a lot like both Rockingham and Darlington. Safe to say that all 100 laps of today's race are gonna be a blast. Speaking of being a blast, that's what the Dunkin Week of Speed tournament has been over the last few days, and over the course of 3 races, we've whittled things down to our semi-final 4 drivers racing for the regular season title, 2 of which will advance after 500 miles this afternoon. Michael Lewis has taken down his competition over in the top left region. He'll face off against Carson Miller for the left-hand side of the bracket, and over on the right, Campbell Marsh and Elijah Gordon will race each other for the final spot at the Coca-Cola Super Speedway Saturday afternoon. 3 of these 4 drivers are rookies coming into this season, and neither of these 4 were in last year's tournament. Elijah Gordon returned after hiatus in 2024, and like we said, the other 3 are rookies so far in 2025. Suffice to say, we're in for a treat with these 4 racing on the high banks of Boston and taking a look at where these drivers are starting. Carson Miller starts on the outside of row number 2. He's the highest of the quartet, while his competition of Michael Lewis will start in 23rd. Then on the other side, it's Elijah Gordon, who starts midway through the field in 19th. He'll take on the deepest starting driver, Campbell Marsh, starting in spot number 37. Tuesday was a great day for Pacific Racing at the Papyrus Motorsports Park. Tuesday was a great day at the Papyrus Motorsports Park for Pacific Racing as Caleb Rose won the RaceDiecast.com 300K from the pole, and Braden Perez has marched his way all the way to the top of the point standings after 19 races ran. He has got an 8-point lead over Esteban Lasser and is 13 points over Carson Miller, who has had an absolute resurgence during his Dunkin Week of Speed run. Both Lasser and Miller do start all the way up inside the top 5, with Lasser being on the outside pole and Miller right behind him. Braden Perez starts deep in the field in the 36th starting spot for one of the previous winners of the Craftsman 500. He's got a lot of work to do if he wants to get up into this battle for the points lead going into Coca-Cola, but I think it's a safe bet to say that the points lead is either going to swing in the direction of Lasser or Miller, given that those 2 drivers are separated by only 5 points, which equates to 1 position on the racetrack. Campbell Marsh and Riley Sampson round out the top 5, and some new faces are inside the top 10, those being Alex Lozano and Owen Miles, but the cut line right now a mere 27 points between Miles and Caleb Rose, but even more closer is the wild card battle. Bradley Reams still holds spot number 1, but with his first win of the season, Caleb Rose now holds the final spot, being the highest driver outside the top 10 with a win. He's got a big margin over Alexander Rowe, who's next in points with a win, nearly 100 points behind Caleb Rose. You see a lot of these guys that are all the way towards the front end of the field. Guys like Esteban Lasser, Zachary Fitzwater, Carson Miller, Eric Monaco, and Corey Case, drivers that have 1 win this season, but would absolutely lock themselves into chase contention with a 2nd win. That is what guys are fearing right now that are around that area, and Alexander Rowe has to put the pressure on, but he starts deep in the field and last in that 84 car. But we still have 7 races remaining before the chase begins in late August. Still plenty of racing to be done here over these next 7 weeks. Just like Rockingham, tire wear is the name of the game at Boston. High loads in the corners and the abrasiveness of the track surface lead these tires to be screaming after just a few laps ran. We may see a similar race to what we saw at Hillside earlier this week, but much like Papyrus, the start is going to be another large point of concern for these drivers. Turn 3 has historically been calamity quarter in years past, especially right at the green flag. But it's a beautiful day in Boston in the afternoon prior to Independence Day, and we're ready to do what we do best as Americans, go stock car racing here in New England. Let's go down trackside to get the most famous words in motorsport to kick off the penultimate race of the Dunkin Week of Speed, the Craftsman 500.
Drivers, start your engines!
42 cars come to life in Boston. We're ready to go racing for 500 miles this afternoon. Two single-car teams make up the front row. Roberto Crown Jr. looks for his second win in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. The Hillside winner from last year starts on the pole position. To his outside, the 64 of Esteban Lacer. Another top 10 start for the Gerben Racing Team entry, who look for their second win this week. Row 2 sees a couple of previous winners here from 2025. The Chicagoland winner of Zachary Fitzwater starts to the inside of Carson Miller, one of the four drivers racing in the Dunkin Week of Speed, and two-thirds of the Titan Fury camp of Igor Barreto and Mitchell Collins will make up row number 3. There's a look at Alexander Rose starting deep in the field in car number 84. Campbell Marsh also deep in the field in the 37th spot. Pace truck gets the 1 to go signal this time around, and it is an absolute packed house here at Boston, with the 4th of July being tomorrow afternoon. Tomorrow we will go road racing to celebrate the 4th of July, the second annual Firecracker at the Glen for the Flowmaster Grand Touring Championship. That is, of course, then. This is now. We'll talk about that later on during the broadcast, but it's going to be a great race here this afternoon. 100 laps to be ran here for 500 miles at Boston. The stage is concluding after laps 20 and 50. We will see 2 sets of pit stops. How abrasive the tire wear is here at Boston. Of the 4 previous winners of the Craftsman 500, 2 of them are on the grid here this afternoon. Braden Perez and Bradley Ream. Last year's Dunkin Week of Speed champion, Ream, starts in 24th, and your points leader, Perez, like we said, starts deep in the field in 36th. Ready to go racing for the second to final race of the Dunkin Week of Speed. Pace truck dives onto the pit lane, and Roberto Crown Jr. leads the field to the green flag. 2 races remain in the Dunkin Week of Speed. And off of turn number 4, a good start on the inside there for Perez. Rather make that the 21 of Crown Jr. Here comes Zachary Fitzwater making his way to the front end of the field in that 99 car. Fitzwater down on the low side. Right behind him is Collins and Lacer tucked all the way high. He and Carson Miller are beginning to go the wrong direction just a little bit. Nonetheless, Matt Wolf will now go to the inside in car number 38. Miller continuing to fall back. Here's Toby Murphy looking to bookend the top 10. And Zachary Fitzwater goes to the race lead in the 99 car. They'll get around Roberto Crown Jr., who goes just a little bit up the hill in car number 21. Mitchell Collins down to the low side, 3 wide back in there. Ryan Durrani on the outside of Owen Miles. Danny Fallington was on the low side. We'll continue to get racy here on the back end of the field. There's Braden Perez along with Caleb Rose. They are right in front of him, the Tide Rod, looking for a second straight win here this season. Campbell Marsh deep in the field as well in car number 31. The only Dunkin Week of Speed driver we have not seen yet has been that man right there, the 47 of Elijah Gordon. Of course, Michael Lewis down to the inside of Elijah going up through the corners. John Andrews making some headway as well in car number 7, I should say. The car number 99 of Zachary Fitzwater shows the way. Mitchell Collins right behind him, and Angel Gutierrez, even though he is inside the top 10, we have seen from Carson Miller so far this season that just because you're in the top 10 now doesn't mean that you're going to be in the top 10 in 7 weeks, and Gutierrez is going to need every point and every win that he can muster right now. We're seeing that with Bradley Ream, who did not get a good start. He's in the middle of 3 wide. That's going to be close there. His owner will go up the hill in car number 4. That's Eric Monaco, squeezing a little bit on the outside lane. Bradley will file it back down to 2 wide. Now 3 wide right behind the 2. That's the 00 of Thomas Troxel. A little bit of trouble. Both he and Logan Alexander starting towards the tail end of the field. Ream now looking to push his Chevrolet teammate with Keegan Thompson as they go down the back straightaway for the 8th time under speed. Already approaching the midway point in stage number 1. Couple of cars going up the hill. That's Logan Williams and Corey Case that simultaneously got tight going through turn 3. They will remain side by side. And Miles starting to fall back a little bit on the outside lane in car number 05. The further we get into these runs, the more we're going to see these drivers try to make those runs on the inside and not have the tire wear to boot. And that's exactly what we saw from Gutierrez that time around. Went up the hill and it actually did pan out for him. And he'll lead this trio of stealth racing cars. Cameron Garlington's team looking strong in the early stages of the Craftsman 500. His car's all up inside the top 10. And looking to go up inside the top 5 is Danny Fallington and Toby Murphy, and they actually bookend, rather caboose, the top 5 right now, with Gutierrez being in 3rd. He's looking for 2nd, Fallington 4th, Toby Murphy in a battle with Matt Wolf as they go on the back straightaway, nearly 3 wide behind them. Riley Sampson got a little bit loose coming out of turn 2, but he's able to keep that 24 car straight as Toby Murphy will now fall outside of the top 5. Last year's champion still looking for his first win in a cup car, his first win ever on the North American Sim Racing Network at that fact. Struggled a lot so far this season. We mentioned it last race. Had a good run at Papyrus, ran up in the top 5, finished in the top 5 as well. And if he wants a miracle run of making it back into the chase to defend his title, he's going to need potentially 2 wins over these next couple of weeks. Kind of do what Mitchell Collins was doing as he's now under fire from the 28 of Gutierrez, Willow Springs winner from back in March. February, I should say. Second race of the year. I'm trying to remember if that race was the last weekend in February or the first weekend in March. Irregardlessly, he's going to try to peek to the inside. That 71 of Collins, who is looking for his 7th win in an MBCS car. He's up to 2nd behind Zachary Fitzwater, who I believe is also going for win number 7 here this afternoon. 3 wide back in there. 6 laps to go in stage number 1, and we're about nearing the midway point in this opening tire and fuel run. Again, these guys can do about 50 laps on fuel, and like we saw at Hillside, they can do probably about 10 less of those laps in terms of the tire wear. We're already starting to see what these guys fanning up as Roberto Crown Jr. just about got up into the outside wall off of turn 4. He'll lose 3 spots going through the tri-oval and down on the front straightaway to turn 1. Trouble for your pole sitter was falling outside of the top 10. He's in jeopardy of falling outside of the top 20. Coming around this time around. Battle for 2nd is on. It's a pair of Dodges as Matt Wolf got right on the back end of that Tag Heuer 71 car. Wolf still trying to play with that 71 machine as Fallington now goes up the hill. That'll open the door for Alex Lozano. He's looking to have a resurgence in that 11 car. Finally made it back inside the top 10 for spending a couple of races outside of it. The Talladega winner looking for win number 2. Try to solidify a spot in the chase for himself. Like Broke Boys Garage entry. Same thing with Dano Georgi in the 34. Like we said in the pre-race show, there's a lot of guys towards the front end of this field. One of the guys that we mentioned, Zachary Fitzwater, a guy that is outside of the top 10. I believe Fitzy might actually be outside of the top 20. The early half of this season was not kind for Zachary Fitzwater. Was able to get a win near the midway point at Chicagoland, but ever since then, it's been fairly smooth sailing. But before that, this season was an absolute train wreck for Fitzy, who will take the final lap in stage number 1. He's just trying to get to the end here, and trying to get his 2nd win of the season to fight for his first ever championship on the North American Sim Racing Network. Some more battling back in here as everybody tries to make their way to the front end of the field. But stage number 1 will go to the Australian. The 99 of Zachary Fitzwater will see the green and checkered flag. And right at the start-finish line, a dead heat between 10th and 11th. But Carson Miller we'll get the final crucial stage point here, and we're off and running in stage 2. A couple of drivers that were not able to get stage points were Richie Fogelman, Toby Murphy, and Alex Sanvitale, but they'll make their way up through here. And something that we're going to see here in stage 2 are green flag pit stops over the course of the next few laps. A few laps, I should say, we're approaching the midway point. 3 wide for last back in here, trying to make that work. Is the 4 of Eric Monaco as Alexander Rowe goes up the hill. Tell you what, Riley Sampson over these last couple of weeks has just been hot one week and cold the next. He's able to get the win thanks to pit strategy at Hillside. Then unfortunately had a really bad pit stop the other day at Papyrus. Now here he is, all the way towards the tail end of the field, all the way up the hill. That was the 58 of Alexander, who nearly got in the outside wall and nearly brought out our first caution of the afternoon. A little bit troublesome there for the Celsius Ford Fusion. Another driver that's looking for win number 2 this season. He's might not be in position to get it here this afternoon, but hey, we do have 2 sets of pit stops. Anything can happen. Talk about Dano Georgi. How about this cat up in here? Started this race all the way back. Where did Dan start? His teammate of Wolf started in 7th. Dano Georgi started this race in 27th. He has made his way all the way up to 2nd. Whatever adjustments that American Motorsports team put into that car pre-race, it has definitely caused him to run on rails. He is the biggest mover in the race so far. How about that? Both American Motorsports cars running 2nd and 3rd. They're catching into Zachary Fitzwater's lead just a little bit. Last time around, they were nearly half a second off. Cut it down nearly 1/10 of a second on the back end of the Krispy Kreme number 99. The tire wear is starting to come into play here. You saw Sam Vitale get a little bit squirrely coming out of 2. Lozano up the hill, Miller up the hill as well, and these Hoosiers starting to wear out a lot the further we get into this run. We're about 10 to 12 laps away from seeing the cycle officially open here. That's when the window will commence. And you see Miller just trying to baby that 8 car all the way around this Boston International Speedway. Lozano nearly up the hill once again. Back to the front, another couple hundredths ticked off there of the race lead, but here comes Matt Wolf. Looking for a little bit of a ledge right beneath that 34 car. Zachary Fitzwater has dominated this contest so far, has led the most laps, all but 4 so far in this Craftsman 500, won stage number 1. He's got the fastest lap as well, 22.354 second lap. Here comes Wolf to the inside of Dano Georgi. These 2 cats running side by side. Ooh, a little bit arrow loose there for Georgi going through 3. That might be what the doctor ordered for Wolf, but he'll tuck back in behind his American Motorsports teammate. 30 laps completed here at Boston. It's been a caution-free affair so far as Skylar Taylor has lost a little bit of time in that Costco number 45. The field continues to get strung out. Talked about the biggest mover in the race being Dano Georgi. The guy who's fallen back the most has been Owen Miles, and both these Dracoan Fords not nailing the setup so far this afternoon, and it's showing here on the racetrack and on the pylon. Last time around, 36th and 38th. 36th and 37th, I should say. That last time by for both of these drivers. Back at the front, now we got ourselves a little bit of a 4-car breakaway. So Igor Barreto will reel in these top 3 guys. But now the lead is just a little bit under a car length. Georgi sucking up right to the back end of that 99 car. Trying to find his way around Fitzwater as they go right up through the corners. And here he comes at a little bit of a ledge, but just a little too deep in the corner. Fitzwater will drive off, going down the back straightaway. You can tell how good that 34 car is, especially rolling through these corners. But did he use most of the stuff is going to be the big question. Again, we're coming up on a pit cycle here in the next 3 or so laps. No takers yet in this contest. But pit road here is very tricky to get down. You saw it with the pace truck, and we'll see it have a good shot at it going through the corner. You see just how hard it is to come down the pit lane, and there is a tire wall. You see it right there on your screen, the tire wall these drivers would hit if they came down just a little bit later. We've seen cars run into it time and time again. It is very, very easy to overdrive that corner and completely end your day. How about Barretto giving a little chrome horn to the Howell, New Jersey native of Matt Wolf? Ran right to the back end of that 38 car, send him up the hill, try to rattle his cage. How about those two Dodges going after one another? A lot of manufacturer disparity towards the front end of the field. You've got Ford leading the race, 3 Dodges up inside, second, third, and fourth in the top 5. It's got a Chevrolet. In fact, the first Toyota in this field. Got to go all the way back to Alex Sam Vitale, who's just outside of the top 10. Tell you what, the Toyotas over these last couple of weeks have not seen a whole lot of action, as Wolf will get passed there by Barretto for the final podium spot. You know, taking a look at the Dunkin Week of Speed. No Chevrolets. 2 Dodges, a Toyota, and a Ford. For Michael Lewis, the 2 Dodges of Carson Miller and Campbell Marsh and Elijah Gordon run the Toyota. That's actually surprising that we didn't get a single Chevrolet in the Final 4. But that is just how these last couple of races have gone. And Toyota did get the last win. It was a 1-2 finish for Toyota, in fact, with Caleb Rose and Alex Lozano last week, or a couple of days ago, at Papyrus. But here we go. Lap number 40, the magic number for these drivers, and who will come down the pit lane? The window is officially open for these drivers to begin pitting. We'll see if we get any takers this time around. We do not, so it looks like everybody will try to stay out an extra couple of laps. Doesn't look like the tire wear was as bad as we initially thought. We could see some of these drivers trying to stay out a little bit more and able to get some stage points here in the next 10 laps. Another lap going by for these drivers as they go past the pit lane. No takers just yet. And these guys have done 42 laps, and I don't know if these guys might try to stretch it as far as they can, because they can go about 50 laps on fuel right at the halfway point. I don't know if these guys are trying to stretch it as much as they can to potentially make this into only a one-stop race. That would surprise me a lot, quite frankly. But hey, we've seen weirder things in the past, and right now, we're seeing these top 3 guys pull away drastically. These top 4 guys, as Dano Georgi lost a lot of ground to Zachary Fitzwater that last time around. Everybody beginning to pull away just a little bit here from this main pack that has remained fairly stagnant so far in this race. But you see the gap there between Gutierrez and Wolf. These top 4 guys all made their way towards the front end of the field here. Everybody will continue to stay out. During the race, the AI always pits on a different lap than what we typically see in the test races, but the pace has slowed down drastically here. You can see it in these corner times for everybody. And even the lap times, the best lap of the race at 22.3. That last time by, Fitzwater ran a 25.428. So the pace has dropped off by 3 seconds. So I think everybody might be trying to turn this into a one-stop race. Igor Barreto is going to get the 2 for 1. Special there, going down the back straightaway, getting around both American Motorsports entries. I think George I has definitely used up a lot of his stuff going right through the corner. Zachary Fitzwater continuing to pull away in that Krispy Kreme number 99. Looking to be the second driver this season to win their second race. 2025, looking to join Bradley Ream in that department. And that's the danger zone there if you're Bradley Ream, because you get one more guy that's outside of the top 10 that wins their second race. You know, you've got a lot of work to do if you want to try to get back into this points battle. Try to get up in the chase, because Ream right now has made a little bit of headway over the last couple of laps. Talk about somebody that's lost ground. Carson Miller in the 8 has lost a ton of time. Started in 4th and really hasn't been able to get outside of the top 10, or really back out or outside of that outside lane. No, he's fallen all the way back, and I believe he might be behind Michael Lewis, trying to see where Lewis... Yeah, Lewis is all the way up inside the top 10. How about Michael Lewis over these last couple of weeks in that 90 car? So everybody's slowly rolling through the corners, just trying to get to the end here as stage number 2's final lap will come out. See everybody just putting on the brakes as much as they can. Zachary Fitzwater with a 2-second lead over Igor Barreto, and coming off of the final corner, sweeping the stages is Zachary Fitzwater. He'll win stage number 2. Barreto will be second, and I am very surprised that these drivers were able to stretch this run all the way to 50 laps. It's been all green flags so far throughout the first half of this race, and Fitzwater's still going. Again, the pace has dropped off another second that last time around. Fitzy ran a 26.192. We'll see what he ran again, but I'm very surprised that even though the pace has dropped off a lot, we still haven't seen any takers on the pit lane. But once we do, these guys are going to get real fast on the racetrack. Zachary Fitzwater continues to blitz the field right now. He has got a 2.5 second lead over Igor Barreto, coming around to what will end up being the opening, the only set of pit stops, I should say. Remember, Zachary Fitzwater, Igor Barreto, and a lot of the guys up in this field will be racing in tomorrow's Firecracker at the Glen. That'll air at noon Eastern Time, right here on the North American Sim Racing Network. One of our biggest races of the season. Zachary Fitzwater in that race for GT Le Mans. Trying to remember if I know both Williams drivers are on the front row for that race. As Carson Miller will come down the pit lane this time by, and here we go. 55 laps into the run, 15 more laps than we anticipated, but everybody was able to get things going and stretch it all the way out to past the halfway point. Now let's see if anybody goes with Carson Miller. That'll be the big question. Alex Lozano will come in here on lap number 56. Does he have any takers? A couple of early birds trying to catch the worm on the undercut. Logan Williams and Riley Sampson will join him as well. So it will indeed be only one stop as Igor Barreto out and away. He came down as well. Did he only take 2 tires? No. Good run there for Barretto. Somebody had an oil leak, actually. It was Carson Miller that had the oil leak. Not what you want there for Carson Miller, who came down. We thought that that was going to be the beginning of the run. But now Miller, who has left the pit lane, so they were able to patch up that oil leak. He's down, and here comes Zachary Fitzwater. He'll give the lead to Matt Wolf here. And Fitzy will trundle down the pit lane. These guys got to be careful coming down here that they do not cause a caution in the middle of the pit stops like we saw earlier on this week at Hillside, especially in that second race. But Zachary Fitzwater is in for fresh Hoosier tires going all the way around that 99 car. Carson Miller is back down the pit lane there in the 8, and he is done. Carson Miller taken into the garage area, a piston failure. That's where the oil leak came from. Ladies and gentlemen, we have officially got our first result for the Dunkin Week of Speed final. Michael Lewis in his first year. Oh, look out, we got a little bit of a log jam coming on the pit lane. We'll get down nice and toastily. Fitzwater split and pass, and here comes the race for the race lead. Igor Barretto down the low side of Fitzwater. He's got a little bit warmer tires. And I believe this is going to be the battle. Up the racetrack goes Owen Miles. He got pulled into there by the 13 and somehow kept it on the road. Goodness gracious, I thought we were going to have another wreck in the middle of pit stops, but here comes Igor once again. I believe this is going to be the battle for the race lead once this cycles out. Lacera's down. I do not believe, yeah, the two American Motorsports cars have not come down the pit lane yet. I do believe that this is going to be the race for the lead all the way up in here. Alex Lozano trying to get around Fitzwater, who's been held up by Thomas Troxel. I think Troxel was trying to get down the pit lane the last couple of laps, and he couldn't. Now Lozano trapped behind the 00. Troxel will finally come down the pit lane. And goodness gracious. You want to talk about a Ty Dillon moment? That was a Ty Dillon moment from Igor Barretto. Runs right on the back end of Charlie Davenport as well. And it's interesting to see how long drivers are trying to stay out here on this run. Now the two American Motorsports cars will come down into the pit lane. Zachary Fitzwater will race by on the outside. He has got fresh Hoosiers. Can Igor Barretto catch up to him? I don't think he will be able to, because Barretto has got 2 lap older tires than Fitzy. Fitzy will rock it around the corner here once again. He is currently just 1 lap down. Everybody getting their laps back with the 2 American Motorsports cars going in. There is Dano Georgi. There's Michael Lewis actually trying to find Georgi there. Come on, stupid camera. Well, Georgi now coming out. And where is Zachary Fitzwater? This is going to be the big move right here. Fitzwater. I believe Fitzwater, yeah, he's all the way on the racetrack. He absolutely passed the 2 American Motorsports teammates, and Toby Murphy gets turned. Back up through traffic goes the 20. Caution flag is out. And just as the pit cycle was coming to an end, we have our first yellow of the afternoon, and it's the Dunkin car of Toby Murphy that got turned around in turn 3. And we're going to have to see how this all cycled out, as Toby Murphy was scored as the race leader when he got turned around. God damn, it's another hillside situation, isn't it? Murphy trying to get around everybody. Owen Miles right behind him. Zachary Fitzwater being scored in second right now. We may have a lot of cars that are off. Toby Murphy will come down the pit lane here. Lonely car in the pit lane. Nope, Zachary Fitzwater will come back down the pit lane. I like the strategy from Fitzy. You're going to have fresher rubber than everybody else, but I'm not sure who. We're going to have a lot of cars trapped a lap down. I knew it. I knew that we could not go an entire pit cycle, especially one that was that long. That lasted about 12 laps. And Toby Murphy bringing out the caution as the race leader. And this is going to be very interesting on how all this is going to be scored here. Fitzwater will come out there in the 99. And we might have another situation. We're going to have to re-rack the field after another yellow flag. We're going to get this race potentially restarted with less than 30 laps to go. But Toby Murphy getting spun out of turn number 3 brings out the yellow flag for the first time this afternoon. We'll take a look and see what happened to car number 20 here to bring out the first yellow of the Craftsman 500 here at Boston. So Murphy had not yet pitted in this race. He was scored as the race leader, but it gets squeezed in the outside wall by the 3 of Fogelman. Murphy then pinballs up into Elijah Gordon, the 47 car, the 47 to 3. Make contact, but they keep it straight. And a long and lazy slide down the back straightaway into turn 3 there for the 20 of Murphy. And he is actually going to do a nice job of keeping it off the wall, locks the brakes up, and was able to not slide down the racetrack. A really good job there from Murphy, but unfortunately bringing out the yellow flag here. And I do believe that he might still be on the lead lap. We'll take another look at this in real time. Another look at Toby Murphy's incident coming down to the back straightaway, 3 wide off of the corner, a little pinball action. Murphy still looking for that first win of the season. Locks the 20 car down. Pulls it back around, does a 180, and he'll be back on his way for the Dunkin Chevrolet. So Toby Murphy was the race leader. We're going to have to see how this will all shake things out. We're under caution for the opening time this afternoon here at Boston for the Craftsman 500. And we're back here at the Boston International Speedway, cleaning up our first caution of the afternoon. Carson Miller was the only one knocked out of this race with a piston issue. We have 23 cars on the lead lap, but several cars are trapped a lap down here on the tail end of the lead lap. But the officials are going to say that since everybody is within striking distance of one another, we're going to not throw out another caution. We're going to get the green flag back out in the air here. 31 laps to go. Lozano, Barreto, Sampson, Bruno Giacomo. I believe that is 96 of Sam Vitale are your top 5. Somebody did not get going in the back. It was Esteban Lasser. The caution flag is back out. Lasser and Skylar Taylor going around. The yellow flag will come out anyway. Well, how do you do? Caution flag is back out. Lead on the back is the 11. Everybody trying to get through the accident scene nice and orderly. Well then, no need for a caution there. Ooh, Bruno Giacomo nearly ran in the back end of Campbell Marsh. Oh, Riley. Oh boy. Everybody, stay clear. Stay clear. Please don't wreck. Daniel Bouchard back down the pit lane, and we're under caution for the second time today. Now the leaders will have some clean racetrack. You know what? Sometimes things just work out. That's all you can say. I don't know if it was Lasser or Skylar Taylor that did not get going off of the start, but somebody, one of those two did not get going. They're going to be marred deep in the field here. But Alex Lozano leads in car number 11. We'll see what happened to bring out the second caution of the afternoon right on the restart here at Boston. So it was a flat tire for Daniel Bouchard. That was the reason he came down the pit lane, but he checks up right in front of Braden Perez. Nowhere for Perez to go. This was the battle for 11th back in here with the lead lap cars. Perez goes down the banking, and he's going to shoot back up the racetrack. and right into the path of Esteban Lasser. Nowhere for Lasser to go. Oh, Bradley Ream nearly got ran into the 64. Same thing cannot be said for Skylar Taylor. And the dominant driver of the afternoon, Zachary Fitzwater, gets a little bit of front-end damage there on that Krispy Kreme number 99. And I tell you what, there was an incident last year between Braden Perez and Zachary Fitzwater. History repeats itself, and the dominant driver of the afternoon, who was shuffled towards the back with the pit stops, going to be taken out of contention here with under 30 laps to go. That is such a shame for Zachary Fitzwater. And if you're Bouchard, there's nothing you can really do there. But it's going to work out here just a little bit, because now the leaders will, all the drivers on the tail end of the lead lap, which that was pretty much everybody, will now cycle around. We'll still get the guys that are trapped a lap down to potentially start on the back end of the field, but Alex Lozano leads. We'll get another look at this accident here, but that is such a tough break for Zachary Fitzwater. Swept both stages. Unfortunately, a series of unfortunate events will put that 99 car not in victory lane here this afternoon. Taking another look at this accident following Daniel Bouchard. Blew a tire, and then, well, it's pretty much on from there. Perez got up into 64, the 45 was caught up in it, and the 99. 5-car accident puts us under the yellow flag for the second time today. All the drivers that were on the tail end of the lead lap will get their lap back. Alex Lozano will lead the way in car number 11. Get this race restarted with under 25 to go here in the Craftsman 500. We're back here at the Boston International Speedway, cleaning up caution number 2 of this afternoon's race. The only car that's a lap down is the 28 of Angel Gutierrez. Had an extended stop on the pit lane. 40 cars remain on the lead lap. 41 are on the racetrack. Everybody was able to get their lap back. So the only car that's on the inside there is going to be Gutierrez. Alex Lozano leads. Your Talladega winner looking for redemption from a couple of days ago. Igor Barreto right behind him in the 13. Riley Sampson looking for his second win this week. Bruno Diacomo looking for his first ever win. And Danny Fallington looking for win number 1 this season. Back to the green flag. 26 laps to go here from Boston. Lozano with a good start there on the 11, but here comes Barreto lurking back down the low side. Side by side for the race lead. These guys will be caught behind the 28 of Gutierrez. Now up the hill goes Lozano. Here comes Barreto down low. Back in here you see Elijah Gordon, who is ahead of Campbell Marsh. Marsh deep in the field there in the 31, and the 90 of Michael Lewis. Shuffle back as well, but it doesn't matter. Carson Miller falling out of this race with a mechanical issue. Igor Barreto to the race lead here with under 25 to go. And pretty much everybody is on fresh rubber. This is going to be a shootout to the end. Here comes Hubert down to the low side. He's in between the 47 and the 96. This is going to get tight, and up the hill goes Diacomo. He runs down the 24, 3 wide off of the corner. And the fight for the race lead heating up as well. Riley Sampson way up the racetrack goes the peak number 24. He'll avoid getting up into the outside wall, but drafting each other like a couple of June bugs on a summer night down south. Igor Barreto still holds the race lead, but it's anybody's race on back. Keegan Thompson now joins the fray in car number 14. He was wondering, where was this speed from a couple of days ago in Waltham? But he's up inside the top 5, and he's going to fight for this race win here. Igor Barreto down on the low side. He's got the lead. Now Danny Fallington is in there as well, looking for his first win on an oval. Hubert joining the fray. Lozano starting to lose a little bit of time on the outside. Toby Murphy making some headway there in the 20 as well. Remember, Murphy stayed out the longest of anybody on the track He's got the freshest rubber of anybody that's not named Daniel Bouchard. Multiple instances of 3 wide, including the battle up for 4th right there. That's 5th. Way up the hill goes Lozano. He overdrove the entrance. Here's Juan Rodriguez. Where did he come from in the 48 car? This is shaping up to be a fantastic final 20 laps of this race. It is anybody's contest at the front end of this field. Barretto, Fallington, Hubert, all on top of one another, and anybody has got a shot to win this Craftsman 500. Talk about Juan Rodriguez and Bradley Ream. Ream was stuck in the back end of the field, and here we go, nearly 3 wide for the top spot, and the caution flag has come out. A heavy crash on the front straightaway. Matthews, Taylor, and Perez all destroyed, and we'll have another restart. Racing it back to the line, through the accident scene they go, and Danny Fallington on the inside of 3 wide will take the top spot away. And I tell you what, cautions breed cautions. And with this dirty water here in Boston, these cautions breed a lot. And Toby Murphy looking for the spin and win in the 20 car. He's made his way all the way up to 4th. Igor Barretto fell back to 5th. But my goodness, this is shaping up to be a whale of a finish here. We're under our 3rd caution of the afternoon, and a tough break for Dylan Matthews, your Daytona 500 champion. Skylar Taylor had to have her car towed back to the garage area. And Braden Perez, I believe his day will end here. No sounds coming from that 92. I believe the engine blew on that Hulu Camry. And he will not retain the points lead going into the next race, even though that 64 has gone around. Esteban Lasser will likely be the points leader coming out of today. We'll just have to wait and see. But Danny Fallington, 1 win to his name at the Mission Barbecue Cup level, 2 career wins in the New Year's 500. He's looking for his first win on an oval at the Cup Series. We're going to take a look and see what happened to put us under the 3rd yellow flag here in Boston. Braden Perez all the way up the hill. He's going to get run into by the 99 of Zachary Fitzwater. And Dylan Matthews, an unfortunate passenger in that battle. Campbell Marsh also got a little piece in the 31. Matthews will go around, but going to see this hit here from Skylar Taylor. Just nowhere to go for the Costco number 45. And a little BTB action, bumper to bumper, absolutely packing the rear end of that 92. I'm surprised that didn't start a fuel fire. Thank God for these new rubber fuel cells here for the Mission Barbecue Cup Series with the 2005 mod. But a little bit of a mini junkyard down the front straightaway. 3 cars all on top of one another. And Skylar Taylor definitely got the worst of that. I think it's a little bit ironic because I don't know if Lasser got a definite piece of that accident as well. But he certainly forced the issue to make it wide enough for 4 wide going through the corner. A little 5-dimensional chest there from your Hillside Day winner a couple of days ago, but the winless streak for Braden Perez will continue. It is now reaching the 50 mark. Coming here into today's race, actually make that 55 races for Braden Perez, last year's Daytona 500 champion. Still looking for that next win here in that Hulu number 92. Getting another look at this accident in real time. And you're going to watch this 45. Right side of your screen, pounds the back end of the 92, and just nowhere to go for any of those drivers. The last 2 Daytona 500 champions running into one another as well as Dylan Matthews, who was consistent the first probably 10 weeks of competition, completely falling off here in these last couple. And she's been doing really well in the FMGTC. She'll be back there tomorrow as the points leader. Yeah, you can hear Braden Perez trying to fire up that car. Doesn't sound like he'll be any successful at that. But we're going to have a dogfight to the end of this contest, that's for sure. Danny Fallington, your leader. Matthew Hubert in second. And everybody behind these drivers. We'll get you back to the restart here in just a couple of moments. Back here at Boston, cleaning up caution number 3. Skylar Taylor was the only car knocked out from that accident. still on the pit lane trying to fix that 92 car is Braden Perez's team. 40 cars now remain in the race. 38 of them are on the lead lap. 14 laps to go this next time around. Danny Fallington, your leader. Matthew Hubert in second. Juan Rodriguez, the man last in the point standings, in third. Toby Murphy, last year's champion, fourth. Igor Barreto, the top five. Ream, Monaco, Davenport, Thompson, and Rose, the top 10. 14-lap shootout here to decide the Craftsman 500. Green flag back out in the air. Taking it here is the 16. He's got a teammate down the low side. In fact, 2/3 of this Stealth Motorsports camp up inside the top five that are going to be racing for this win. Here comes Juan Rodriguez in the 48. It's been a long time since Juan has been to Gatorade Victory Lane since last season. Same thing for Matthew Hubert. For Toby Murphy, it has been never. That Dunkin number 20 car trying to win race number 4 of the Dunkin Week of Speed. As Angel Gutierrez gets out ahead of everybody. Remember, Toby Murphy does have the freshest rubber of everybody up on the field. Hubert up the hill. He'll fall outside of the top five. Bradley Ream right behind the 20 car as well. Murphy is going to try to peek down to the low side. No avail there just yet. Trying to get to the inside of Rodriguez, and of course, we could get another yellow flag later on in this race. Murphy now up to second. He might be gunning for the race lead here with 11 laps to go. His teammate left the door open. Murphy down to the low side of Fallington. New race leader, Toby Murphy, stayed out the longest of everybody, caused the opening caution of the race, and he is all the way to the front end of this field. He's looking to check out, coming to 10 to go. Can he hold on? Angel Gutierrez, again, he is a non-factor. Trying to see if Braden Perez is back out here. He was not. No fuel in the 92 car, so he has taken that machine to the garage area. Esteban Lasser will likely be the new points leader coming out of this race, even though he is in 33rd. 8 laps to go for Murphy. Has now opened the lead to 0.5 of a second over his teammate of Danny Fallington, who's starting to go the wrong direction. Everybody back in here in the points lead, having a little bit of a rough afternoon. There's Logan Williams up the racetrack. He'll scrape the outside wall. Remember, these guys approaching their ceiling in terms of the tire wear. We could see another yellow flag, but Murphy has opened that gap up to 3/4 of a second. He is laying down some flying laps right now. Still about a second off of Zachary Fitzwater's top time of the afternoon of 24.354. But what a story that this would be. Now the lead up to over a second. You know, that incident there for Murphy was no fault of his own. He got ran over by both Elijah Gordon and Reggie Fogelman, was pinballing between those two cars. But sometimes all you need is a little bit of luck and a little bit of tire wear to get the job done. 6 laps to go. Now he's trying to get around Angel Gutierrez and Charlie Davenport, trying to fight off Danny Fallington here for this penultimate spot. 3 wide off of the corner. Juan Rodriguez falling back a little bit there in the 48. He'll go up the racetrack. Same thing with Eric Monaco. They'll keep it straight for now. 5 laps to go here for Toby Murphy. He continues to gap over his teammate in the 16, but could we see another yellow flag? And now Elijah Gordon has fallen back in the 47, and Campo Marsh is in front of him. So now we could have a matchup finalized for the Dunkin Week of Speed. 3 wide off the corner. Barreto nearly in the outside wall. He'll keep it straight. All three Titan Fury cars were going 3 wide through the corner that last time around, but Toby Murphy shot out like a canyon. He has got a 2 3/4 lead over the 16. How fast can this 20 car fly? 3 laps to go. Now Charlie Davenport to the inside of the 16. Last time around, another 0.2 of a second over Danny Fallington, who will surrender second to Charlie Davenport. Davenport has got a long way to go. He has got nearly the entire length of the back straightaway. They're trying to catch up to that 20 of Murphy. Last year's champion trying to get his first win. He'll see the sticks high. 2 laps to go for Toby. Davenport trails by nearly 2 seconds behind the 20 of Murphy. Now he's got a little bit of breathing room in the form of lap traffic. Second and final time through turn number 4. White flag is in the air. One more time around the Boston International Speedway. Toby Murphy can cruise from here on out. Davenport back by 2 seconds, but it is all that Dunkin number 20 car. Through turns 3 and 4. The spin and the win for the 2024 champion here in 2025 off of turn number 4. Checkered flag is in the air. Hamilton, New Jersey's Toby Murphy will take it for the first time. You want to talk about a BTA moment? That was a BTA moment right there. Toby Murphy. Stealth Motorsports will get their second win of the season. Coincidentally, the 28 of Angel Gutierrez right behind, playing blocker for his teammate. But how about the job that 20 team did here today? Played the strategy. Okay, you brought out the first caution. That's not exactly what you would envision, but I think he'll definitely take it, and that team will absolutely take it. What a day for Stealth Motorsports, and what a day for Toby Murphy. That team gets the job done here. We take a look at the official standings. Toby Murphy by 2.287 seconds. He absolutely whipped the field there. And we said in the pre-race, tire wear was going to be the biggest thing in this race. And we saw it right there on that final restart. Toby Murphy making the pass with 10 laps to go. Charlie Davenport will get second. Fallington will round out the top 3. How about John Andrews and Brandon Wilmington? Those two coming from absolute nowhere. Logan Alexander, we mentioned both him and Owen Miles were down below the top 30. Both those drivers able to get top 10 runs as they will bookend the 2 of Bradley Ream. Thomas Troxel will end up getting 9th, and Cole Sampson will round out the top 10. And taking a look at your Dunkin Week of Speed drivers, I don't know what happened to Elijah Gordon on that final run, but he fell all the way back, and Campbell Marsh will be racing against Michael Lewis. 2 rookies racing for the Dunkin Week of Speed grand prize of 50 points at the Coca-Cola Super Speedway here in the next couple of days. You cannot write a better story than this one. You Campbell Marsh, who started on the pole position for back-to-back races at Hillside. A little bit of luck go his way at Papyrus a couple of days ago, but he will be fighting for the Dunkin Week of Speed sweepstakes. The same thing for Michael Lewis, has dominated there. Was able to get past Eric Monaco, was able to beat Esteban Lasser, the points leader of Esteban Lasser, and took down Rogel Dorn as well. And today, he takes down Carson Miller, who is arguably the top driver remaining here in the Dunkin Week of Speed. He'll be racing against Campbell Marsh. Both the drivers on the top end of each bracket will be racing here. And this is... What a weekend that this has been. What a weekend for Michael Lewis as well. What a week it's been for Michael Lewis as well. Got his first ever FMGTC win at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. Now he's going to be fighting for a Dunkin Week of Speed in-season tournament championship. Potentially another win here in the Dunkin Week of Speed coming into the next race at Coca-Cola Super Speedway. That's what I love about this week. That's why I love the Dunkin Week of Speed so damn much. We got 2 races left, one on the Cup side, 1 on the Grand Touring side, and that's where we'll see you tomorrow. But that is going to wrap it up here from Boston. Congratulations once again to Toby Murphy for winning the Craftsman 500, and tomorrow is one of the biggest races on the calendar for the NASRN. And tomorrow is one of the biggest races on the calendar for the NASRN, the Flowmaster Grand Touring Championship, 2nd annual Firecracker at the Glen, where coverage from Watkins Glen International will kick off at noon Eastern, only on the NASRN. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, ladies and gentlemen. Here are your Dunkin Week of Speed bracket and point standings after race 20 of the 2025 MVCS season. And from Cambridge, Massachusetts, on behalf of the North American Sim Racing Network, my name is Trey Wright. Have a great night, folks. We'll see you tomorrow at the Glen.